Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a man who doesn't complain about the big problems in life because he's yet to figure out the little ones. Welcome, Leake.
Beautiful. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, I have a hard time expressing to you tonight how much this means to me to be part of your first night celebration. Thank you very much for inviting me back. Thank you. Thank you. With that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do tonight, my 45 minutes of stand-up comedy will be told in a story about how I discovered how much humor could help my life. It's a little something I call a funny thing happened on the way to the Tonight Show. Good, you're already laughing. So you can imagine that this experience has deepened my appreciation for the little things in life. But what surprised me was because I love to laugh, it deepened my appreciation for the little things in life that don't make sense. What didn't make sense in 1991 in my life? I found myself backstage at a prominent late night talk show. It didn't make sense to me because I had not been my class clown, and here I was telling jokes to 2 million people at night. Now, I had been on national TV before, the Jerry Lewis Labor Day Telethon at 3:40 in the morning. Prime time in the Aleutian Islands. So I was no stranger to fame. But this was Johnny Carson's Tonight Show, the stamp of approval for comedians of my generation. And my job that night was to talk about the little things in life that don't make sense. What were the little things in 1991 that did not make sense? I said this: there's a phone number on the back of a credit card for when it's lost or stolen. You're laughing because it's still there. What was the bigger problem in my life that night? Something a comedian said to me. He said this: is the happiest way to think also the healthiest way to think? When we're taught to deal with stress, some people say, focus on the big problems and let the little ones take care of themselves. I said, no wonder I laugh so easily. I've got it backwards. And at that very moment, Doc Severinsen and the band stopped playing. The curtain opened. And the talent coordinator leans in to give me one more piece of reassurance, reminding me why I got into comedy in the first place in a little comedy club in Richmond, Virginia called the Richmond Comedy Club. In a creative environment like that, how could you not be funny? Remember our trick. Transition. What do? We focus on the part that doesn't make sense. What didn't make sense in my life in 1982? I'd gotten out of college with a business-related degree and I couldn't find a job. And I felt stressed and I didn't know what to do with it. So I did something that didn't make sense, the same thing that you've done tonight that doesn't make sense. You plunked down a couple bucks to see if laughter could be productive. And that night I laughed so hard, I found the energy to go back out and try to find a job. And still nobody's hiring. This time I do something really dumb, really that doesn't make sense. I allowed myself to dream a little. I remembered advice I heard at my graduation from a religion professor at a keg party. What did he say? Love life. I said, does that pay well? And he said, yes. Work at what you love. If you can make that your job, you'll never work a day in your life. Your vocation will be your avocation. You'll draw life from your livelihood. And while you'll still have problems, they'll become part of the flow, and yours will be the path with heart. I learned a valuable lesson that day. The religion department throws great parties. And when I came out of that dream, do you know where I was? Back in that comedy club, not to watch, but to do. I had never told jokes in my life. I go on stage, I get no laughs. Finally, something has happened that makes complete sense. And I'm walking out of the club when I hear a voice say, "You should try this again." I turn around. It's a woman my age, the owner of the club. I say, "But I wasn't funny." She says, "I noticed that." She says, "But I need people like you, people who can introduce the people who are funny." I said, "Am I hearing you right? You're going to pay me to not be funny?" She said, "No, because I would owe you for tonight." I had never felt anything like this in my life. Finally, a successful job interview. I hope as you look back at your year and in the new one to come, that you notice moments like that in your life, where you gave yourself permission to love your life. And the gatekeeper said, "Go for it." And you discovered you had no idea what to do. That kind of stress is really motivating. I looked for mentors. I was working with a man named Kevin Rooney, who was a writer for the show called Cheers. And he did 30 minutes of jokes on stage about politics and 15 minutes about a dog. But right in the middle of that, he had this one slice of life moment. He said, "If it really is permanent press, why is there a setting for it on an iron?" And the clouds parted and there was light. Because I didn't know anything about politics and I'm allergic to dogs. But there was nothing about this moment that was inaccessible to me. I couldn't wait to find little things in life that don't make sense.